Hello, folks. This is Jacob Harkey. It is February 21st, 2024. I was hoping that by now I would have gotten a chance to have seen our good friend Scotty, aka Defender of Ants, aka DOA. We've not seen him yet. Uh, he is scheduled to be heard today, where we are now, which is the Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Justice Center. There's lots of us here. We've got Confident Chris, Serge Del Mar, Michael. We've got Nerd Report, Danny and Leah. So it's a good turnout. DOA has definitely got a good community here who turned out to show their support for him. Now, the time that we received for when he would be heard is a little bit vague. So we're still not sure what time that's ultimately going to happen. I don't have anything going on until this evening, so I'm definitely going to be sticking around. I know that just about everybody else here went live before me, so I think that a handful of you tuning in may already be aware of what's going on. But if not, we were all escorted out of the courtroom because one of the defendants whose case was being heard was punched by officers, pushed into a corner again with his face smashed against the plexiglass, and then brought to the floor. And it was shortly after that that everybody was ordered out of the courtroom. Now this screen is black. There we are. I'm back. May have lost me for a sec there. My apologies. But I'll go ahead and say that I did not see the very beginning of the physical altercation between the defendant and the officers. What I saw, I looked up right as the officers were pressing the guy's face into the plexiglass. And it was shortly after that he was brought down to the floor, the defendant was, by the officers. And then myself and the folks I was in the courtroom with were ordered out of the courtroom. And shortly thereafter, many more cops showed up. Came up to the fifth floor where we were at, went into the courtroom. Some of them went into the courtroom, and some of them stayed outside in the hallway to do some crowd control. Oh, goodness. The officers collected statements from a couple of the folks who were present who saw things from the beginning. And now we're outside, and we will not be welcomed back in the courtroom until 1:45. So the only people who they allowed back into the courtroom. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention: they brought the defendant who was pushed into the plexiglass outside, or excuse me, out of the courtroom and into the hallway. He was brought out on a stretcher, and he appeared to be unconscious. His face was back. He did not look like he was conscious to me. Sean Rawa asks, and the prisoner was handcuffed? Yes. This is part of the thing, is that when at the time that he was punched and pushed into the plexiglass, he was handcuffed. So I don't know how much of a threat he realistically could have been. Like I said, I'm not the only one who is live about this right now. Confident Chris, Serge Del Mar, Danny, and Leah. I don't know if I currently see Chris without a Hellcat. He may have gone to move his car. But some of those folks saw the incident a little bit more from the beginning. So if you want to hear other perspectives, I certainly encourage you to check out all of their channels. Cat Ocean, thank you so much for the Dunkin'. I was going to get there. Yeah, believe me, I did not get to eat breakfast this morning or drink my coffee. And we've just been sitting in the courtroom just waiting for hearing some updates about what's going on with Scotty. But this Dunkin', I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, Kat. So, what time is it right now? Looks like right now it's 12:17. So we've got until 1:45, so still almost an hour and a half. Here's what I'm thinking. I'll probably finish up this sandwich, drink some of my coffee, courtesy of Kat. Hopefully, I hope that I'll be able to update you all sooner rather than later about what's going on with DOA. I really, really hope that he will be released today and that we will be able to maybe go live briefly with him outside. That would be really fantastic. But in the meantime, yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen live streams from the other protesters who showed up today, Danny, that's live Danny, Leah, Michael, Serge Delmar, Confident Chris, I would strongly encourage you guys to check out their statements as well. Easy Quick on TikTok as well. Some of those, like I said, some of those folks saw the incident a little bit more clearly with their own eyes from the beginning. Mandy McGee, thank you for the reminder to please like the live and subscribe to the channel. That would be much appreciated. And I will also say thank you to all of you who stepped up yesterday and volunteered to be moderators. I apologize again for everything that happened yesterday in my live stream yesterday. I know that we did not always have a moderator present, and there were some inappropriate slurs being brought into the chat. So I do apologize for that and for not keeping an eye on the chat. But everybody who reached out to me and offered to become a moderator, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I've added some additional moderators to the channel, and I will be in touch with those of you who I have not gotten back to yet. But I did want to acknowledge that real quick. I also did want to say thank you to everybody who gave me positive feedback about covering the topic of Julian Assange yesterday. Like I said, I had a little bit of back and forth in my own head about if I wanted to be focusing on Julian Assange's hearings on extradition to the U.S. that are currently happening in the U.K. But this is a big deal. It has to do with freedom of speech. It has to do with freedom of the press. I think that activists and journalists should have the right and the ability to be able to publish information, to be able to publish opinions. And if Julian Assange is successfully extradited to the United States, I think it will set a very dangerous precedent for the freedom of the press. And so thank you. Thank you to everybody who tuned in yesterday. Thank you to everybody who gave positive feedback. And like I said, I encourage you guys to check out the live streams of other folks who are here, and looking to see if I see any folks in the chat who had any other questions that I could answer really quick. But if not, I'll probably get off of here before too long so that I can continue eating the sandwich that Kat was so kind to order for us. And Serenity says, "You are an awesome reporter, Jacob. You are going to go far." Thank you so much, Serenity. I appreciate it. Kat Ocean says, "Can you cover Alexei Navalny?" No. I have a lot of thoughts to share on him. And I don't know. We'll get there when we get there, because you know what? Because people are asking, and you're not the only one who has asked. I have seen other folks in the chat who have also wanted me to make some more comments about him. I'll get there. And like I said, I will remind you all, I understand that if we do start to get into more political topics, there may be disagreement. I've had some back and forth in my own head about if I want to be getting into political topics, but the reality is, covering LAPD corruption, covering police corruption of any kind, protesting police corruption, that is a form of political action. So politics are not going to be off limits on this channel necessarily. I know that so far I've focused primarily on issues concerning the Church of Scientology, but there may be other issues that we get into, and if there is disagreement in the chat, that's okay. There can be disagreement. I may not always agree with everything that people in the chat say. You may not agree with everything that I say, and that's okay. I do think that I need to do a little bit more prep work before I can adequately cover Alexei Navalny, though. So, is it Navalny or Navalny? I may be butchering his name, which is a sign that I need to do a little bit more prep work. So, like I said, I'll get there. In the meantime, strongly encourage you to check out. No need to apologize. It's all good. Strongly encourage you guys to check out the folks who are streaming here. And in the meantime, I'm going to finish up my sandwich. Thank you again, Kat. And hopefully I'll be able to update you again before too long. All right. I'll talk to you folks later.